Friends, in this video we shall learn about the first Anglo Sikh War from 1845 to 46. So what happened after the death of the Maharaja Ranjit Singh during 1839? The Sikh empire fell into anarchy and was very disorganized. There were weak successors. His successors were unable to maintain the strong and centralized rule that was there during the Maharaja Ranjit Singh time. And also the noble and the militaries competed for the power, which led to the betrayal and assassinations. Also there were rapid change in the ruler and the influence of the factions, that is group like Lal Singh and Tej Singh, created further chaos. So due to this anarchy, the British intervention occurred. Okay. Now, next is basically what was first Anglo Sikh War and how did it happen. Is that the first Anglo Sikh War was fought between the Sikh Empire and the British East India Company from 1845 to 1846. The main reason for the cause of this war was the death of the Maharaja Ranjit Singh, because Punjab fell into anarchy and political instability occurred. Now, British annexed Sindh in 1843. Also, they had defeated Gwalior in 1841. So that was alarming the Sikh. Now, what did this Sikh will do? The Sikh army crossed the Satluj river. That will provoke the British. That crossing the Satluj river on 11th of December 1845 would allow the British to intervene into Sikh Empire, and then the battle began. So on 21st of December 1845, Battle of Mudki happened, wherein British won after heavy fighting. And then in the Battle of Firozshah is a small village along the Satluj river, in 22nd December 1845, British narrowly defeated Sikh. Also Lahore was surrendered and Sikh forces were finally defeated on 20th February 1846. So the Treaty of Lahore happened after the defeat during March 1846, and Sikh had to give their territory, especially Jalandhar Doab, to the British, and the Sikh army was reduced. Kashmir was sold to Gulab Singh, and Sikh leadership, that Dalip Singh was made the Maharaja, Lal Singh became the Wazir, and Punjab was controlled by British through the Council of Regency led by Henry Lawrence. All those changes happened due to the Treaty of Lahore. So why is this war so important? It marked the beginning of the British takeover of Punjab, and Sikh Empire's power declined, leading to the Second Anglo Sikh War from 1848 to 49. Okay, so let's start today's session. The outbreak of the first Anglo Sikh War has been attributed to the action of the Sikh army crossing the Satluj river on December 11, 1845, giving the British a justification to declare the war, because they had crossed the Satluj river, and this was the justification for the Britishers to declare the war against the Sikh Empire. The reason can be listed as below. The death of the Maharaja Ranjit Singh led to the anarchy in Lahore, resulting in the power for supremacy among the local forces. The British military campaign to capture the Gwalior and Sindh in 1841 and the campaign to capture Afghanistan in 1842 created suspicion among the Sikh forces. Increase in the number of the English troops stationed near the border of the Lahore Empire. So all those things led to the First Anglo Sikh War. The British had annexed Sindh during 1843, defeated Gwalior in 1841, and this is how Sikh forces understood the intention of the British to invade Punjab. So the Sikh army's decision to cross the Satluj River on 11th of December 1845 was seen as direct provocation by the British, and this led to the First Anglo Sikh War. Now the course of war. The war started in December 1845. The Sikh army was led by Lal Singh, but due to the betrayal of Lal Singh and Teja Singh, the Sikhs were suffered 5 consecutive defeats at Mudki in December 1845, at Battle of Firozshah on 21st and 22nd December 1845, Budelwal, Aliwal, January 28, 1846, and Sobraon, February 10, 1846. On February 20, 1846, Lahore surrendered to the British force without any fight. So Lahore was surrendered by the Sikh on February 20, 1846. And there were no fight while they surrendered, because they have understood that their own people, own leader were betraying them. Okay. So the Sikh army had already suffered major defeat at the Battle of Mudki, Firozshah and Sobraon. So their morale was low, and their army was significantly weakened due to these series of war. Also, there were lack of leadership. The Sikh commanders such as the Lal Singh and Tej Singh secretly collaborated with the British and intentionally weakened the Sikh resistance. And after the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the Sikh empire was politically unstable and lacked strong leader to rally the troops or to organize the defense that strongly. So the British army led by Sir Hugh Gow and Sir Henry Hardinge was more well equipped and far more disciplined and well organized. Sikhs realized they could not withstand another confrontation, so they surrendered Lahore without any fight. Now let us see what is there in Treaty of Lahore. On March 8, 1846, the end of the First Anglo Sikh War forced the Sikh to sign humiliating treaty on March 8, 1846. The main feature of the Treaty of Lahore were as follows. The war compensation of more than 1 crore was to be given to the British. The company got the area of Jalandhar Doab between the Bees and the Satluj. The British resident was to be established in Lahore under Henry Lawrence. The strength of the Sikh army diminished. Dalit Singh was recognized as the ruler under Rani Jindal and Lal Singh as the Wazir. Since the Sikh were not able to pay the entire war indemnity, Kashmir, including Jammu, was sold to Gulab Singh and he had to pay 75 lakh to the company as price. So what happened during the Treaty of Lahore on 8th of March 1846, after Sikh lost the first Anglo Sikh War? It was very unfair treaty where Sikh had to give away their land, money and power to the British. Huge payment was done by the Sikhs. They had to pay to the British more than 1 crore rupees as war compensation. And also the Sikh gave the land to the British, the land of Jalandhar Doab. That means land between the Satluj and the Bees rivers to the British. So this was very humiliating, wherein they have to give their Doab land of Jalandhar to the British between the Bees and the Satluj river. The British officer in Lahore, a British resident, that is Henry Lawrence, was placed in Lahore to control the Sikh affairs and smaller Sikh army as compared to the previous. Previously it was larger and the Sikh army was reduced in size so that they could not fight with the British again. And the Sikh could not pay the full compensation of 1 crore rupees. Now they had to sold Kashmir to Gulab Singh at 75 lakh rupees. To settle this, the British took Kashmir and Jammu from the Sikhs and sold it to the Gulab Singh, who was a Dogra ruler, for 75 lakh rupees. So this is how we have learned about the Treaty of Lahore. The next is Treaty of Bhairavwal. Treaty of Bhairavwal. The Sikhs were not satisfied with the Treaty of Lahore. Okay. So, the Treaty of Lahore on the issue of Kashmir, they were not satisfied because they had to give forcefully. The Kashmir was sold to the Gulab Singh, we have read. So this was not accepted by the Sikhs, so they revolted. The Treaty of Bhairavwal was signed in December 1846. In accordance with the provision of this treaty, Rani Jindan was removed as regent and a council of regency was established for Punjab. The council included 8 Sikh Sardar and was headed by British resident Henry Lawrence. So we have understood that after the Treaty of Lahore in 1846, the Sikhs were very unhappy and dissatisfied with the terms, especially with on the issue of the Kashmir. So they were not happy and forcefully they had to give their land to the British. So the British made even more rules to control the Sikh empire and the Sikh army was reduced further. And the British controlled Punjab more strictly. So this treaty made the Sikh weaker and the British resident Henry Lawrence controlled many important decisions in Punjab. So we have understood that the Treaty of Bhairavwal was signed in December 1846 after the Sikhs were unhappy with the Treaty of Lahore, and this treaty was a way for the British to further control the Punjab more strongly. The Sikhs were upset with the Treaty of Lahore because of the Kashmir was sold to the Gulab Singh and Sikh lost most of the control. And the Sikh leadership felt that they were humiliated, and the loss of power to the British was not acceptable. Now Rani Jindal was removed as regent, that means the ruler of the Punjab, in absence of Maharaja Dalip Singh. So what happened? A council of regency was established to govern Punjab, and this council had 8 Sikh sardars, that is 8 leaders, and was controlled by the British, that is Henry Lawrence. The British resident became the head of this council. That means the British had complete control over the administration of Punjab. The Sikh lost even more power and independence due to this treaty of Bhairavwal. The British were now in full control of Punjab and making all the major decisions, because the head of that 8 Sikh leader was Henry Lawrence, and the Sikh Empire was effectively reduced to a puppet state under British rule. So the treaty made the Sikh even more weaker and further solidified British control over the Punjab, which led to the complete annexation of Punjab by the British during 1849. Now, Second Anglo Sikh War from 1848 to 49. So what are the causes of this war? The defeat in the First Anglo Sikh War and the provision of the treaties of Lahore and Bhairavwal was extremely humiliating for the Sikh. The inhuman treatment meted out to Rani Jindal was sent to Banaras as a pensioner, further increased the anger of the Sikh. On the issue of the increase in annual revenue, Multan governor Mulraj was removed and a new Sikh governor was appointed due to Mulraj rebelled and killed 2 British officers accompanying the new governor. Sher Singh was sent to suppress the rebellion, but he himself joined the Mulraj, leading to a large-scale rebellion in Multan. This can be considered the immediate cause of war. The then Governor General of India, Lord Dalhousie, got an excuse to completely annex Punjab. Now Rani Jindal, who was the widow of Maharaja Ranjit Singh and regent for her young son Maharaja Dalip Singh, was treated very harshly by the British. She was removed from the power and sent to a city, Banaras, in India, where she was forced to live as a pensioner with little respect or authority. This treatment greatly angered the Sikh community because they saw it as an insult to their queen and their sovereignty. Now, what happened in Multan that contributed to the growing anger of the Sikh? The British increased the annual revenue in Punjab, which hurt the Sikh population. Mulraj, the governor of Multan, rebelled against the British when he was removed from his position, and he killed 2 British officers who were accompanying the new British appointed governor, and this caused significant unrest in Multan and contributed to the growing anger among the Sikh. To suppress the rebellion in Multan, the British sent Sher Singh, another Sikh leader, to deal with Mulraj. However, instead of fighting against the Mulraj, Sher Singh joined Mulraj and supported the rebellion. This led to a larger scale rebellion in Multan, making it an important flashpoint in the conflict between the Sikh and the British. Now, how did the rebellion in Multan led to war? The rebellion in Multan became one of the immediate cause of the Second Anglo Sikh War. The British saw it as a threat to their control over Punjab and used it as an excuse to take action. Now, Lord Dalhousie, the Governor General of India, used the rebellion as a justification to annex Punjab completely. Lord Dalhousie was looking for the reason to take full control of Punjab, and the rebellion gave him a perfect opportunity to justify the annexation of Punjab. He used the growing unrest and rebellion to protect as a pretext to launch the Second Anglo Sikh War in 1848 to 1849, which ultimately led to the complete annexation of Punjab by the British. So, what happened when Lord Dalhousie proceeded towards Punjab? That Lord Dalhousie, the British Governor General, decided to take control over Punjab after Sikh rebellion, and he led the Punjab forces towards the British forces towards Punjab, where a series of battles were fought to defeat the Sikh army and annex Punjab completely. So, the Second Anglo-Sikh War had three main battles before the final annexation of Punjab. The Battle of Ramnagar, Battle of Chillanwala, and Battle of Gujarat. The British army led by Sir Hugo fought the Sikh at Ramnagar, where the Sikh forces were defeated and weakening their position. In Battle of Chillanwala, it was a significant battle where British initially struggled against the Sikhs and led the British forces suffered a heavy loss. However, the Sikhs were still unable to hold their ground for long and were defeated. In the Battle of Gujarat, this was the final decisive battle. The British forces defeated Sikh army in Gujarat in a small city on the Jhelum River, and after their victory, the Sikh army surrendered, making the end of the war. And after the surrender of Sikh army, Punjab was officially annexed by the British in 1849. The British established a three-member board to rule Punjab. The members of the board were Sir Henry Lawrence, John Lawrence, and Charles Monshell, and Henry and John were Lawrence's brothers. In 1853, the British decided to abolish the three-member board and placed Punjab under a chief commander, and John Lawrence became the first chief commander of Punjab, taking full control over the region. So just imagine a team that has been playing a game for a long time, where the referees are the Britishers and Sikh were the player. So the referees sees that the game is getting out of control and the team of the Sikh is becoming too strong. So these referees decide to change the rule of the game to take over the field of the Punjab and control everything themselves. Thus, after losing the final matches, that is the battle, the team has no choice but to give up the game, and the referees, that is the Britishers, are in charge of the field forever. And this is how the British eventually, slowly, gradually took full control of Punjab, ending the Sikh rule and starting a British rule. So this was the whole story. Okay. Course of war. Lord Dalhousie himself proceeded towards Punjab three important battles fought before the final capture of the Punjab. These battles were Battle of Ramnagar led by company's Commander-in-Chief Sir Hugo and Battle of Chillanwala, January 1849, and Battle of Gujarat in February 21, 1849. Sikh army surrendered in Rawalpindi. Gujarat is a small city. Rawalpindi is a small city in Gujarat on the bank of the river Jhelum. So, the result at the end of war, the Sikh army surrendered, and Seth Singh and Sikh army surrendered in 1849. Annexation of Punjab occurred. Establishment of three-member board to rule the Punjab, which would include Lawrence brother Henry and John and Charles Monshell. In 1853, the board was abolished. The three-member board was abolished, and Punjab was placed under the chief commissioner, and John Lawrence became the first chief commissioner. Extension of British paramountcy through administration policy. The process of imperial expansion and consolidation of the British supremacy was carried out by the company during the period 1757 to 1857, though through a two-pronged method. So here we will understand about the expansion of the British power and their policies of annexation. So the British used two main methods to expand their control over the India. First was conquest and war. British fought wars against powerful kingdoms like Bengal, Mysore, Marathas and Sikhs. They defeated them and took over their lands and annexed their kingdom. The next method was diplomacy and deception method. The British expanded their control through diplomacy, using alliances and treaties, and cleverly their administrative policies helped them to gain more territory without directly fighting. Okay, so these are the two main methods of British expansion. The policy of conquest or annexation by war, in which the company mainly defeated and subjugated Bengal, Mysore, Marathas and Sikhs by waging war, fighting war against them, and by deception, that is diplomacy. The policy of annexation through diplomacy and the administrative machinery. In this context, we can give example of Warren Hastings' ring fence policy, Wellesley's system of subsidiary alliance, and doctrine of lapse by Dalhousie, Dalhousie's lapsing principle. So, Warren Hastings was the British Governor General, introduced a policy to strengthen the British control over India. So this ring fence policy of Warren Hastings aimed to create protective buffer around the British controlled areas in India, example Awadh. And this was done by forming alliances with the neighboring kingdom to prevent them from becoming threats or falling under foreign influence. So the goal was to keep the British territories secure by surrounding them with friendly states that would not pose any danger. Now, similarly, Lord Wellesley introduced the subsidiary alliance policy in the late 18th century to ensure the British had control over Indian kingdom without directly ruling them. wherein the Indian ruler had to accept the British troops in their territory for protection, and they could not make alliances with another countries or kingdoms without the British approval. And also they had to pay for the British troops stationed in their kingdom for their protection. Example, the Nizam of Hyderabad was forced into this alliance. While he remained in power, he had to depend on the British, for his kingdom security and follow their instruction. Now, Lord Dalhousie also introduced the doctrine of lapse in 1840s, which allowed the British to annex a kingdom if the ruler died without a male heir. If the kingdom did not have a son to inherit the throne, the British could take over the kingdom. For example, the kingdom of Satara was annexed after the ruler died without a son. Similarly, the kingdom of Jhansi, Nagpur, Rajasthan were taken over by the British using this doctrine of lapse policy. So we can imagine that they are playing a game of territory control. In case you fight and defeat others, you can take their land, like conquest and war. In another case, you make deal and alliances with the players, saying things like, you can stay in your territory, but you have to let me control your defense, and you have to pay me for my work to control for the defense of your territory. So finally, if a player has no heir to rule the land, you just take over it by claiming it's now yours, just like doctrine of lapse. So all these things helped the British to consolidate their power and conquer the kingdom, either by the war and conquest or by their strong policies. The British used these methods to expand their control and consolidate their power in India. They did not always have to fight wars. They could gain land and influence through their smart politics and alliances, and making them more powerful without much direct confrontation. So this explains how the British expanded their rule in India during 18th and the 19th century using these important policies. So this is all for this video. We will continue in the next. We will discuss the policy of ring fence in detail, the subsidiary alliance, evolution and perfection, stages of application of subsidiary alliance, and the doctrine of lapse and the annexed lapsed state. All those things will be discussed in the next video. Till then, keep studying. Bye.